for the last 5 years, I've been behind so many gurus and coaches in money making, business, health, whatever you want. And I've always been the guy who was doing the funnels, the email marketing, creating the ads, the offers, all the systems, the automations, all that. And right now, what I'm doing with content is completely the opposite. And I have no idea how to do it because what I'm trying to achieve is to say the right things that would attract the right people. And I have to say the things that can influence the right people to take action so that they can experience change. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I haven't posted content on Instagram for the last 5 days. And I have this, guilt on my mind because everyone tells you to post consistently, post every day, post 3 times a day. But what if I don't have anything to post? What if I don't have ideas? What if I don't have nothing to say at the moment? Like they try to make the creative process and the like this is such a I'm trying to take ideas and words out of my mind, put them in my mouth and send it to you. And they're trying to systemize that and put it in a box, in a system, get 5 hooks, do this format, do this, blah, blah. And it's just so sterile and so dead. It loses its soul, it loses its purpose. Because so my objective is to get people to become more conscious and to make health their priority because I believe that their life will change because that's what happened for me. When I started to improve my health, everything changed. The business, the relationships, myself, the relationship with myself, how I was experiencing life, how I was looking, and basically you're changing your life and you're improving your life. And I feel like this is a calling for me to do content and to inspire other people to take the change, to make that change. But everyone is just so overcomplicating this. I might be wrong, but I just want to speak in front of a camera or just speaking in general about things, about what I have done, what are my plans, what I believe, what are my mistakes, what I have learned, everything. I want to speak about that, and the right people will resonate with that, and they will follow, they will listen, and they will take action. That's the most important part. Right. So yeah, I did just to do short form content is just so dead because if I have such a big idea, such a concept, such a story, a belief, how can I fit it in a 1 minute reel? That's stupid. That's just not going to happen. And I don't even want to attract those kind of people. Like most of the people who are watching a 1 minute reel, they don't give a fuck about going into a process, changing their life, actually making a change. Even with myself. So I had a health coach client. He's the biggest one in Romania. And I was working 12 hours a day, managing 3 clients at the same time, a sales team of 8 people. And I asked him, like, hey, okay, you know about health, you have health clinics, you have all this knowledge, the audience, and all this stuff. Can you give me some advice? And he told me to read Mark Sisson book called Primal Blueprint. And it's basically a book on how to implement a primal diet in your life, which is just animal foods mostly, but also with some fruits, maybe with some vegetables, but it's mostly animal based diet. And when I implemented that, that was the first time in my life where I actually saw changes with my body and with myself in just a few weeks. I would say even a few days, but that's just to, I would say a few days, but the results were so good. You might not believe it, and I'll just say a few weeks. Anyway, and that's the first time I actually saw changes. And I read the book. I didn't went to watch a podcast with him or watch one of his short form content pieces, although they're doing good. But when I wanted to actually do that stuff, I read a book. I learned every intricate part of the process, every little thing about metabolic flexibility, about walking, about how the sunlight works with the body, about how to fast, and all that stuff. And that's when I got rid of my psoriasis. That's when I got rid of my acne. That's when I got rid of the brain fog. I had energy to work. I had energy to be on sales calls. I had energy to manage the teams. And it was the moment when the businesses and all the projects that I was managing started to take off really quickly. So if there is one goal with this content that I want to achieve is to make you shift your beliefs and to have you change your priorities and to make health your number one priority, because I know this will change your life the most. No no amount of money will change your life the way making your health the number one priority will do. So now I'm thinking, what can I tell you to actually make you have that belief, to make you believe that health is your number one priority, to make that change happen. And I'm thinking about stories. I'm thinking about educating you on what I have learned, on what is metabolic flexibility, on how fasting works, on how you can maybe eat sweets and still not, reduce the damage that they do. So another aspect that I can speak about is the mistakes that I have done and what I have learned from them. Because when you're trying to lose body fat or when you're trying to get healthy, there will be a lot of problems and plateaus, and maybe one thing will work for 2 weeks, then it will not work out of a sudden. So I have learned a lot about those as well. And I can also tell you stories with how health affected my life from when I was 7 years old. So I started to get fat when I was 7 years old, because that's when my parents got me a computer, and that's when I started to stay in the house and just play video games. And when I started to get fat, I basically was fat my whole life. And in the last few years, that's when I got into the best shape of my life. And I can 100% tell you that if you're not in shape, that if you are inflamed, that if you're foggy, if you have just bad habits in general, like bad health habits, people will not respect you, they will disconsider you, uh, like just so many bad things. And I get it, it's normal, but you have to make a change so that you can actually live up to your potential.